Hello and welcome to EV Review Ireland. My name is Derek Reilly. Today we're looking at the Volvo C40, specifically the single motor, and the question that a lot of people are asking me is it good enough? So let's get started.
If you'd like to support the channel and you're interested in all things EV, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future updates.
So Volvo with the C40 and the XC40 have brought out a single motor and a dual or twin motor, and the way you'll identify that is on the back you'll have the recharge badge. Now the recharge badge within Volvo land is anything that has the ability to be charged with a plug, so you will get recharge badges on the back of plug-in hybrids. But as you know, on this channel we focus on fully electric, so we have XC40 recharge full electric, and then the C40 recharge, which only comes in electric. So if you see a C40, there's never going to be a plug-in version of it. The C40 has that nice rounded off grille, it's the new design, and the XC40 is starting to get that now as well with their slight refresh. And on the back with that recharge badge, like I was talking about, if it is a twin motor, it'll say recharge, and underneath it, it'll say the word twin. If it's a single motor, which is front wheel drive, it will just say recharge. So that's how you know it visually from it. Battery wise, there is a slight difference in them as well. So you can get the smaller battery or the bigger battery, and so the larger battery has a usable 75 kilowatt hour, and then the smaller battery has a usable 67 kilowatt hour. So not really much in the difference, and this is similar again to Polestar, one of their sister companies. So depending on what you're willing to pay, so this one, single motor with the small battery, retailing in Ireland around €54,000 after the grants. You may recognise this from the channel already. I had it on it last September, October of 2021, where I was lucky enough to fly out to Belgium to review it. So if you're looking for a full in-depth review of the C40, I'll put the link up on the screen and also in the description. But today we're talking about whether the power of the single motor is enough, or should you stump up and go for the dual motor. The only difference between this one and the one I looked at in Belgium is the slight difference in the inlay. This one has a like a street map view of Gothenburg, whereas the other one was like a topographical view of a state park in Sweden. So that's the only difference that I can see with regards to what I looked at last September. Range, the difference between the dual motor and the single motor also is down to battery size. So with that larger battery, it's saying WLTP of 450 for the twin with the larger battery, real world probably 350, and then this single motor with the smaller battery, WLTP is about 430, real world about 333 is what we're getting on EV database. Power is obviously the big difference with a single motor and a dual motor, or twin motor as they call it in Volvo land, and what we have in 0 to 100 terms, 4.7 seconds in the twin motor, and then this one, the single motor front wheel drive, comes in at 7.4 seconds. What's the difference in horsepower between the two? 408 in the dual motor and 231 in the single motor. So you'll definitely feel the difference. And you know what? I had the twin motor on the channel already. It's mad, probably a bit too mad. And if you're fond of your penalty points, I'd be sticking with the single motor. Power in the dual motor, it's 300 kilowatts across both axles, and on this one it's 170 kilowatt motor on the front axle. Newton meters of torque, then you have 660 Newton meters of torque on the twin, and on this one 330 Newton meters of torque. So it's probably the only stat that's exactly half. Top speed on the twin motor, it's 180 kilometers an hour, and on the dual motor, sorry, on the single motor, this one, it's 160 kilometers an hour. Space wise is the exact same, so it's a 413 boot in the C40, whether you go for the twin or whether you go for the single motor. So that's the stat attack of the C40s, this dual or single motor. And really the question is, what do I think and why you're watching this video? And you've either bought one and you're anxious before it arrives, or you're thinking about buying one. And I'd say, first thing you need to do is, I appreciate you watching the video, number one. Number two, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. We're on a drive to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Second thing is, if you can get a test drive, get a test drive, because my view is only my view. But that view is the single motor is absolutely adequate and very acceptable. Probably more than acceptable. Would I buy it myself? Yes. And that's the truth of it. I think it's still powerful enough. When you need it to go, it'll go. It's not as instantaneous as the twin motor, but you know what? You're not going to be left wanting. You're not going to be left behind anything. When you do need to overtake something, you'll have the ability to overtake something as well. The driving position, the seating, etc., etc. We've talked about that in the other review, but it's a nice drive. Some shortcomings on the C40. It's a bit tight in the rear. It's a bit tight in the boot. You do have that frunk up front for the storage cables. I've talked about my love-hate relationship with Android Automotive, which is like Google built in. I love the fact that it has on the Google Maps, when you sign into Google Maps and you use that as your navigation, built into the actual car, it talks to the battery and it knows exactly what state of charge the battery is going to have by the time you get there. So it's great to have that integration. What I don't like is the fact that I can't get all of the apps that I currently have on my phone. So Android Auto with that mirroring of what's on my phone, I'd prefer if there was a bit more synergy between the two, Android Automotive and Android Auto. But the car itself, it gets a lot of looks. This is the grey one we have today. A lot of people like the look of it, and justifiably. It's a really nice looking car, really well designed, and this C40 version, even though it's not a ground up EV, how efficient is the C40? I'm getting around 20 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers, and that's over the last 821. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review of the Volvo C40 single motor, and with the stat comparison, but also my thoughts on, is it good enough? And the answer is yes. The power is good. Yeah, it's all there if you need it. Do you need the twin motor? In my opinion, probably not. It's very fast, very powerful. But as always, go and take a test drive if you can of both and see the difference in it. Remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.